That came through. So good. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Steele here, back again with yet another RDX podcast. Back with all the latest information on Gears of War 5. I'll put this out there first and foremost. We've been talking to a lot of people behind the scenes separately. I've talked to a few different people. I know some other guys in here have talked to and reached out to some people that went to a recent Gears of War event, and we've got their impressions of the game so far. No names, stuff like that, but it's all stuff you'll see on release. Good information today on Gears alone, along with brand new interviews from different executives, new games, all kinds of great news, guys. So thanks for joining us live. We do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Let's get into some intros, some shout outs. We'll start getting into some Gears of War stuff, and we'll move on through the topics. Colt Eastwood, man, how have you been? Welcome back to the show. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, I got the quadruple bypass vasectomy last week. Yeah, took a long family vacation. It was kind of nice. And during that, like 1 week of absolutely nothing to play. So I'm glad to be back.
Executives, new games. Well, we're happy to have you back, bud. Fonzarelli, man, how have you been?
Oh, been great. You know, Colt didn't mention I got to meet up with him, you know, after his vacation. Stop by for a little bit.
He probably just didn't want to mention it because of the nightmares and the scars.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. We're past that. We're past that. Anyways, things have been good, man. I just want to get into these topics so we can have a decent show today. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's aim for decent, Chad. How about that? Tim Dog, how have you been, brother?
Good. Really happy to be here. I missed last week. Sorry about that, but I'm pumped up, ready to go. This podcast has like a playoff type postseason feel to it right now. Really excited to talk about all the stuff that we have lined up, and just happy to be here.
D Batch, what's going on, brother?
I'll let you know after I finish this Red Bull. I've been burning the candle on both edges, man, and I'm ready to go for this show tonight, though, to be honest with you guys. It's a nice break from what I've been doing the last few weeks at the exhibition down there with the televisions. Just been overwhelming, so it's nice to take a break and talk.
Hell yeah. Zalker, how have you been, little buddy?
I'm doing good, little bitch. I don't know what the hell, little buddy.
That was a little fucked up, but
I know it was. I'm sorry.
How have you been? How have you been?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited for the show tonight. Excited. I'm just counting down the days to Gears. Like, I just want to play that game so much. There's like nothing else. Like, even if anything else comes out, I just have Gears in my head right now, and that's what I want to play. So I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to these topics tonight. And everybody in chat, looking forward to talk to you guys.
Awesome. Shout out to Lone Star, Ian. Yeah, you're right. We do got some pretty reliable sources. Matt Jones, Dave UK. Drops, Big Germ, we got Scout, all you guys. Thank you all for showing up. You're all fantastic. I got to also shout out my patrons in the shout outs here as well. So least I can do. So we got Backboss, we got Daniel Vasquez, we got Jed Myers, Scout Trooper, Patman Gaming, Centurion, LegionGamer.com, OB1 FTW, Black, Real Deal, Neil, Suicide King, Darj Knight. Shout out to Darj Knight. Prime Suspect, we've also got Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo, and of course, let me go to my other little set of people here. We've also got Wilmy Hood, Alfonso Hogan, A-Squad Gaming makes fantastic Call of Duty Rainbow Six content as well. Slim Killer 73, I just talked to him in the Discord earlier. You guys are awesome. And by the way, if you do join the channel or join the Patreon, there's a Discord for those of you who do that, and we talk, and I'm going to start doing some gaming and stuff in there as well, some post-show stuff as well. I'd like to start doing in there as well. But, hey, let's get into the first topic, right? Gears of War, they just had a recent event. We've all kind of reached out. We know some people. We've proven that over and over and over. And they've kind of told us some things, and we're not bound to any NDAs. We're not really spoiling anything. We're kind of just confirming some things that we've already speculated on in the past, or things that have actually leaked in the past, in addition to some new things. And if you've been a long-time listener, you know that we've been big advocates for Gears moving forward, doing something a little bit different, coming forward into 2019. And I think they've done this from what I'm hearing. We're hearing a lot of good stuff. So, first and foremost, Tim Dog, we can't say much on the game length. I was told by one person they don't care if I say anything about it, but two others said, don't say anything about it. So I won't give the hours. But Tim, can you let people know what you've heard about the game length? Is it really 5 hours?
No, that is completely out the window. You can take that out and throw it out. The game is going to be a really good, sizable amount. I think everyone's going to be very happy. I've heard a lot. I'm not going to divulge because there's going to be previews coming later this week. But have to say, very happy to what I've heard. There's not really much to worry about this game. So instead of worrying, let's try to look at the game in a different way. Like this game is going to have probably one of the longest campaigns, 5 multiplayer modes, endless play, horde. It's just an unbelievable package that Rod Ferguson and his team at Coalition are putting out there. This is very impressive, and just a whole build up to it has been crazy with the smoking and all the stuff that went along with the fear mongering that went on. It's like now, like those people are about to get slapped.
Hey, just hashtag never forget everybody that was fear mongering, right?
Yeah. So
hashtag bitch face.
I think we're all in for a treat. I'm going to be a little. I'm not going to talk as much as I should, or I shouldn't. Whatever.
Well, we are going to reveal some stuff on the show. I mean, right. I was told that I can do that, and I think the viewers really want that as well. But I'll come back to you, Tim, on some of this other stuff. But in terms of first, I got to give Punkadus a shout out. He says just wants to start the show off with a $2 super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it quite a bit. We've also got Cedric H. Thank you so much for the $5. And we've got Mega Davo, who says, of course, Xbox is trash, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Don't forget the heart. Don't forget the heart.
Dave. I like Dave.
I just want to add to what.
Go ahead, D.
No, I just want to add to what Tim said about the manga. I saw that you put out a tweet earlier today, and someone was getting choked out, slowly dragged back, and then had their head decapitated. So anybody worried about the level of violence in this game need not real. Like this game is looking fantastic. And I also saw the tweet from Rod Ferguson when somebody said, oh yeah, I'm gonna complete this game in 5 hours, and he just simply replied, yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck, motherfucker. Hey, I got to give a shout out real quick before we continue to almost 500 watching already. Hit that like button, guys. Let's try to get to 300 or 400 before the end of the show. You guys usually smash that goal. You guys are awesome. 1,000 after the fact. Share this out for us. Help us grow. You like the program. You prefer Xbox like we do. Help us find more people. So, again, let's get back to Gears of War. We got a ton of great stuff to talk about here today. The link, what I will say, guys, is that from what I've heard, if you just run through the story, it is definitely the longest Gears ever. I'm not going to be specific on that. But here's the thing. There's side quests in the game. Okay, so everyone here has pretty much been told the same thing. There are side quests in Gears of War 5, and from what people are saying to me, the impressions are that this game is going to be absolutely fantastic. Not only that, but there are, in fact, open hub world maps to explore. There is customization as well. There's RPG elements in the game. I heard something about loot. Did anybody else hear that?
No, I didn't hear that at all, but that's super intriguing for a Gears game, man.
No, but I know. I'm excited right
I'm
now.
not exactly sure if I was told that because the person called me, and I could have swore I heard him say there was loot in the game as well. This game is... I want to throw out their meta predictions, but I won't do that. Just say that they're thinking the game is going to review very high. It's probably got the longest, and I say probably because there's going to be somebody that, of course, speedruns this game in who knows what time. But it's supposed to be the longest Gears. It's got the most open space. It's got side quests or side objectives. It's got explorable areas and all this stuff. You can drive the skiff around, all this stuff. Colt Eastwood, your thoughts on everything that you might have heard today behind the scenes. And there's stuff we can't even talk about.
I know. I'm trying to be super vague because I also heard from somebody that was at the Coalition event yesterday, and oh my gosh, I can't even say it, but like the first thing that made me think of was some of the changes that were made to the God of War series for 2018. About how Kratos could kind of meander around the world and look around over here and over there instead of just pushing forward through a combat area. And so there's changes being made to the Gears game that we wanted them to do, and it sounds like they have done them already. So it looks bigger and it looks better. And I hope that there's some sort of motivation to explore, like pick up something to get maybe take more damage or something. I'm really excited about it, and I can't really say much more than that, but I'm really super excited.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to say real quick was what you talked about the time about someone's going to beat the game in 5 hours. That was one of the snarky comments that somebody in clown makeup said on Twitter to Rod Ferguson. Rod Ferguson was sharing how he was at the event and how everybody was gathering around for the press to see Gears 5. And he's really excited. And some guy with a nose came in and said, I can't wait to beat the game in 4 hours. And Rod said, good luck with that.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Very cool.
I don't know, man. Everything that I've heard, David Robinson, by the way, what's up, brother? Thanks to Super Chase. Says what it looked like. It looks amazing. It looks even better from retail in the campaign as well. It's going to look even better. We've also got Evil Sith Lord. He says this is for Zalker and no one else. He gives you $10, Zalker.
Oh,
thanks, Evil Sith
bud.
Lord.
Unfortunately, you have to
unfortunately,
channel that money has to go
Sith
through
Lord's
me
a really cool
first.
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, Zalker, from everything you've heard, all the leaks in the past, what are your thoughts with some of the stuff you're hearing today? And let us know in the chat as well. And give us what you think this game is actually going to review at, Metascore wise.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like this is. When's the last time you guys like saw a game coming out where you're like, this is fucking massive? Where you're like, there's a huge campaign attached to it, and no matter what you say, Gears campaigns have always been eventful for me. Like I really enjoyed them. They've had a lot of good set pieces and the story and everything. And then you add the multiplayer modes, you add the new mode Escape, you had everything with the Horde that they did with the Horde and all the new classes attached to it with the special abilities, just everything. Put it all together, and we're getting it through Game Pass or wherever. Even if you just bought it for $60, like what other game can you guys think of is this massive?
From
like
Xbox?
To me, I on anything, fucking anything. Like just on the top of your head, what's the game that you guys think is this massive?
All the modes, the campaign, the co-op,
all the modes, the campaign, the
multiplayer.
co-op, everything, bro. Like everything. Like
Everything
I'm having a
considered,
hard time.
Zalker, I could say that there's not many others out there that have come out in a while that are probably this big in terms of having multiplayer, having the complete package.
Sorry, D. Hold on one second. And because of all that, you put that all together, and I know that they're going to get the multiplayer down because Gears has been one of the best multiplayer games out there. People love it. There's a bunch of gearheads that gnash for people on walls and all that shit. And then the modes like Horde and Escape, I think, are going to be a hit. Horde's already a hit, and when you look at Escape, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. People are going to test their skills and their speed through it. And then the campaign just going to be something you go through with a buddy, and you're going to be like blown away by the graphics and all of this in 4K 60. As a Metacritic, I'm going to try to give my prediction on it. I think it's going to be high 80s, maybe low 90s. I'm excited for it. Like, this is my best, like, this is my favorite franchise. I want to see what it does. No other game to me has been this big in a while. Like, I'm trying to, like, I'm thinking about games, and I just can't think of a game that's this big.
We're getting a lot of high 80s, low 90s in the chat as well. D-Bat, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no. I first of all, I think it's going to score an 89 to a 91. If we're lucky, a 92. I was going to talk about the multiplayer aspect. I was at Fan Expo, I think last week Thursday in my city, and they had Microsoft there, and they were showcasing Gears. And behind closed door, well, we can line up for it, whatever. They have the co-op on display, and the co-op was like 3 players locally, and it just looked phenomenal. And it brought me back to the days when we all used to go over to each other's houses, to play together. And I think that's going to be a big selling point for that game too. I think it's going to help the overall score of that game. You're right; it's the complete package. I can't wait for this game, man.
So, Fonz, you kind of came into Gears 4, not necessarily super hyped, but you finally played it, and you came away surprised because you had heard, of course, nothing but Sony guys kind of bashing on the game, even though it's an 84 meta. Are you excited about what you're hearing here today on the Gears front? And I'll kind of give what I've been told by these people at the end of our conversation here, their kind of impressions of the game overall. But what are your thoughts?
Well, you've also told me some stuff behind the scenes, of course, and from what you're hearing. And, honestly, it's exciting because they are doing things like giving you a bigger world. You're going to have the hub worlds to explore and stuff. And that is a lot like, God of War in that aspect, because those were essentially like set pieces where they were just hub worlds you can explore. And it still had some of that linear aspect. And I guess it's going to be along the same lines. However, though, it's still going to be a Gears game, which is a good thing. It's always a solid. It's always got solid gameplay. The one thing that most people would kind of lean negatively on is when they hear stuff about loot. Oh, there's going to be loot in the game. Immediately they think, oh, loot box, but that's been already, debunked many times by Ferguson and others within the coalition, that there is no traditional loot boxes within the game. So if you're thinking that, guys, it's not going to be here. However,
there's been articles about it too.
However, there will be microtransactions. And they're saying they're going to be player friendly. We'll see if they're, how that
come over here, Jimmy, buy me.
I've been personally, it's one of those things where it's kind of an odd way to describe your microtransactions. But hey, there's going to be microtransactions there. Hopefully, they're not intrusive or anything. And I really don't think it's going to be that way anyway. I think we're going to have a fun, solid game here. And I'm, if I had to guess, I'm going to say it's going to get about an 87 Metacritic, and I think that's a fabulous score for the game. So
I mean, it is a good score. I'm hoping it's a little higher based off everything I've heard. Big Germ wants to know if there'll be a new game plus. That I have not been informed on. I did hear a little something about a boss battle, but I didn't really get much information about that, which at the time, you got to understand, I'm like busy rushing around doing my thing. I get a phone call. I'm here. This guy's kind of murmuring to me. Another guy DMs me what kind of like the other half of the story.
Was I the phone call?
No, you weren't the phone call, Tim. But you didn't mention anything about a boss battle. But I'm just saying that, there's some really good stuff, and we've all kind of combined what we've heard from different people and put it out here, or at least a lot of it out here. The length is going to be longer than any Gears, according to what we're told. There are side quests that extend that length past that already longer campaign. There is that 3-player co-op we've already talked about. There's wide open explorable areas with different side missions or side objectives. You can drive that skiff all over the place, snow, sand, etc. And the story's looking to be pretty insane as well based off the story campaign trailer. The game is confirmed to be 80 gigabytes so far, so if you are looking to get that game downloaded and you're on some 3 megabyte, shit right there, you might want to get on that real quick. GameBread says, have the last of my 2 fraud dollars. Thanks so much. Tim, I mean, go ahead, Zach.
No.
You had an opinion?
I was gonna say one more thing. Like, I was gonna say that we know that the multiplayer is down pat. We know all those things are down pat. And the one thing that we were worried about was the campaign. But after hearing little things that you guys have said, and everything and then we're gonna have the previews like later this week that the coalition's kind of teasing. I really do think that this game is and I said it last week, I really do think it's contender for game of the year.
Were you worried about campaign?
After E3, remember everybody, we didn't see anything.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I wasn't thinking.
It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride.
I wasn't thinking, the campaign's not going to be good because I didn't see it.
No. We weren't thinking that. We were just annoyed that we didn't see anything, right? We were like, come on, like that's the heart and soul of the campaign, right? That's the heart and soul of Gears right there, where people get attached to the characters. People love Marcus. People love these characters. That's what we wanted to see. And after seeing that trailer, and then everything else, like it's kind of like you're looking at it, you're like, man, this game does have potential to be game of the year. Especially, I'm going to be honest, this year has been okay with some games coming.
Wait. I have to call out somebody, Dude Bot, whatever. He says the Xbox Apologetic Podcast. Why is it apologetic? Is it because sometimes we can be
what are we apologizing for?
Like why can't somebody be hyped for a game that is exclusive to the brand? What is the point of doing these podcasts if you're just going to be negative about something all the time? You can go listen to those other podcasts where all they do is talk negative on Xbox, and you can have a great time there, I'm sure. But here, we're not going to just sit here and naysay Xbox all day long. Yes, sometimes we do say some negative things. If we're being honest now. There's no apologies being made. We're saying that Gears 5 is exciting to us. If you don't care to hear that, you can go somewhere else.
And when you go somewhere else, don't forget to go fuck yourself.
There wasn't even a,
can we get a hashtag bitch face in the chat, please?
There wasn't even a moment in this entire podcast today where we were making any excuses for anything.
There's nothing to make an excuse about. These guys are intimidated by Gears of War 5.
Yeah,
they're intimidated by what they hear.
He's scared. That guy's right now a little nervous. Like he is.
But Tim,
he's mad that a good game's coming. Think about it.
Why are they mad about that, Tim?
Because they wanted to.
How many times have we sat on this very show and talked about how fucking amazing God of War is? Like,
listen,
why can't they do that?
We've always given due respect. You have to give respect. This is my problem with a lot of Sony fanboys. They never give any respect. This is a game maybe you should give it respect. Okay, I'll go into one thing I heard. I'm not going to say, much, but I heard it's a 90 Metacritic game. If it doesn't get knocked down by Xbox hate, it's going to be... That's exactly what I heard. 88,
What's the algorithm to calculate the Xbox hate factor?
To even be saying that, and this isn't a one-to-one conversation, just shows you that there is a lot of people that kind of like hate on Xbox for whatever reason. But this is not the time to hate on Xbox. Give the game its due. Just you know what? Go play God of War. Go play one of the fantastic games that you have exclusive to your system. Be happy with what you got. Not hate what we like another Xbox fan.
They should be happy though. Like it's competition. They should want more of that, right?
Well, we're going to get into that later on a different subject. But there's a guy in the chat, Sun Goku. It's going so fast I can't even find his name. He said multiple times in the chat. He said, if Gears 5 has microtransactions, I'm not buying the game. I'm not playing it. Like this is the attitude that we need to make sure that we keep in check and it's properly that energy is properly being pushed forward for games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of Mordor, the Middle Earth game. Both of those games got absolutely destroyed by the gaming industry and by the gaming audience because they heard the word microtransaction, they flipped out and their pants fell off and they got really angry. And like Tim was saying, and Zachary was saying, like Rod Ferguson's been upfront about what these microtransactions are. When you hear the word microtransaction, look into it before you say, I'm not going to play a really super great game.
Yeah. Randy Johnson in the super chat says, keep up the good work, RDX. Tim Dog is the man. You're the man, Tim Dog. Be excited.
Thank you very much.
We've also got Rock Dog, your brother. He says, thank you, dealer, for a real Xbox podcast. Thank you, Rock Dog. You make the podcast. All of you make the podcast. And I think we have another one here. David Johnson. He's into these kind of rhymes. He says, never before and there be no more a game like Gears of War. On that note, I'll say no more. Thank you for making me a poet, David Robinson. Do appreciate it. So I kind of want the chat. I missed it before. It flew by so fast. Your final Metacritic predictions. I mean, we're allowed to talk about that. We'll be reviewing the game, right? I mean, why not? We are. So we'll be getting early copies of the game or reviewing it. And you know what? I'm very
Relax
excited.
With the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, little tadpole soccer won't, but
bitch, I'm a frog.
Colt and I will definitely be getting it, and we're looking forward to playing the game. We're going to give our honest take on the game, and of course, so people will be like, "Well, you're just going to damage control it." Well, simply look at my other reviews. I didn't damage control these other games I didn't like, so it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, man, any kind of final words? Their review impressions, from what I heard, are really, really good. Like they're like Tim said, 90 meta type stuff. I don't know if that's true. Take all of this, from a kind of personal perspective of these guys going out and playing this game and the hype around it. But so far, it is pristine quality. And the fear-mongering never made sense, man. Biggest team they've ever had, most time they've ever had. Why would it be the smallest Gears ever?
I'm gonna say this, guys. Everybody in the chat, honestly, the game is so close to releasing, like next Friday, right? The game is so close to releasing. You're going to start hearing some things, because of this previews that are coming out. And these people are going to try to freaking destroy the game before it even comes out.
You think so?
Just fucking ignore. I think a lot of people. Not the preview. I'm talking about like the fanboys. I think the Sony fanboys are the ones that haven't even seen the game. They're
Right,
going to
but
make
they've
shit up
tried.
and attack it. They've tried, I know, but just wait a week and a half, guys. The game's
It's
almost
like-
here. Enjoy the game when it comes out for yourself.
All right,
We're
guys.
so
I'm seeing
close, it doesn't matter.
97 metas in the chat here. Come on, guys.
No,
Come on, guys. I'm seeing 97s here. Come on, this ain't Zelda. Any
Dealer,
dog shit Zelda game can be fucking 97. This ain't Zelda.
It's true.
Dealer, you're
God,
most
dog
familiar
shit
with the
Zelda.
story in Gears 4.
I'm not saying all Zelda games are dog shit. I'm just saying when I ask around, even the worst Zelda, everyone's like, I hate that one on the Wii or whatever one it was.
It's
Skyward Sword.
definitely a
Talking to oak trees.
Right,
Definitely a curve.
Like seriously, like that game's even at 96, and all the fans are like, yeah, that game wasn't that great. So I don't know, whatever.
Hey, Dealer, you're most familiar with the story in Gears 4. How would you compare it to what you're expecting for 5?
I would say that Gears 4 was what they could put out in the time that they needed to have it out in, and I feel like Gears 5 is going to take those risks and give us those set pieces the first one didn't have, and have a much more compelling story with what we've kind of expected, man. That open world environment, that exploration, and hoping, I don't have my fingers crossed for this, but I'm really hoping these side quests have some significant narrative, but for that to happen, you would have to introduce characters and motivations, and I don't know exactly what's capable there, right? I just don't know. So, I don't know.
I hope the side quest has significant narrative for the hub world that you're in, like the area that you're in. Expand upon
Like these locusts infected my house, man. Could you go clear that shit out?
No, not like that. Like just like the world, right? Like certain areas, certain factions, maybe stuff like that.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta give a shout out to almost 800 watching live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to do 300 for the end of the show. 1,000 after the fact. I know we'll smash that first goal. Thank you guys so much. Share this out if you can. We're giving you some early information on Gears of War 5. A lot of this stuff is in fact true, and there's even some more stuff that we revealed here that really hasn't been leaked or talked about. And of course, there's more that we can't even talk about, but we'll be playing it pretty soon. You know what? Anybody else? I mean, Gears is a big game. It's coming out soon. Anyone else got anything else to say on the title? Because it is a big deal here. I mean, again, it's an 80 gigabyte install. Played on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on September 5th for absolutely free. Remember, Game Pass is a never was.
I mean, I just have one thing to say. A lot of things that we always talk about. Sometimes we get called apologists, but I remember us all saying, like, look at the facts that they have a bigger team now. They created the engine. They've had more time to work on this. They got a studio in 2014. Think about that. And in 2016, they came out with Gears 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's like these studios that they got in 2018 making a game ready for 2020, ready to go like that. You got to give Rod a lot of recognition here. It's his time, and I hope he gets his deserved. But just like I said, the show definitely have to, everyone on the panel and just to show overall why I came on. We're saying good stuff here. We're not misinformed. We know what we're talking about, and this just goes to show you, it's looking like all the things that were said or were untrue. It's just like that was fear mongering for 2.5 months. Like, come on.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't take much to kind of use your brain on these. Cole, can you read that big ass super chat? That'd be great.
Yeah, in fact, I would love to. The yellow one says, "What's poppin', RDX gamers? RDX and gamers." This is from Lod79. Can I get a birthday shout out from the best gaming podcast on YouTube? I'm spending it with you guys tonight. Toast to a good show. Let's go. So I get to sing to him, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can get his Xbox Live information and send him a voice message.
Yeah.
Hey,
Happy birthday, man.
Hey, Log.
Happy birthday, brother.
You didn't even tell us how old you were, man. But happy birthday. Thanks for spending it with us for some reason. Thank you.
And
Somebody.
I do know. Happy 63rd birthday.
Wow.
Now, if he's an Xbox gamer, he's 18 to 36.
Did you say 63? We're not talking about Death Stranding's meta.
Ooh.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Everybody, relax.
Low blow.
Relax.
Zaka, that was a little fucked up.
It was a little fucked up. Just like that
But
paint.
happy birthday, Lon. Thank you so much, man. Last week, somebody decided to eat skip on Chinese. I think it was Brian Harris. He said, you know what? I passed on Chinese for this. So,
Whoa, that's
the stakes are getting higher and higher, Colt.
Already.
Timothy Weekly, he says too much A button, 50 meta.
Oh yeah.
The Forza Horizon 5 comes out, too much right trigger, fucking 74. I'm done with this series. We've also got Nightwolf. He says this $2 is for Fonz, and that awesome call out. There you go, Fonz. I'll send you $2. I'll send you 70% of $2. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and move forward for the topics here. But just to kind of wrap up Gears, Gears Tactics was also confirmed to be coming to Xbox One by the Coalition themselves. As we told you guys, it was, what was it, about a year ago? Right? And so many people, I'm talking to you, Stuart, if you're listening, punk ass motherfucker, we're saying that we were lying. And it's because we actually know things. And also, it's also common sense. So we didn't even have to know shit to know this, but it's coming. So be excited for that if you are a XCOM fan like Zalker. He's looking forward to this.
Hell yeah. I can't wait. Can't wait for that, man. I mean, Rod had an interview on like IGN talking about it, saying like, yeah, we're bringing it first to PC. And then they're like, well, what about Xbox? He's like, a little bit later, but we want to get the controls down completely on PC because we want to make it a full-fledged game. He goes, and this type of games requires that with mouse and keyboard, and then we're going to push it over when we make the controls a lot better on Xbox.
And then later on, like not long ago, he was asked on Twitter, like, what team is making this, and is it coming to Xbox? He said Splash Damage, and yes. So,
Fuck yeah, man, I can't wait.
It's good stuff. Gaming Bolt, for those that didn't know, this just happened today. Gaming Bolt wrongly reports on some information, and Aaron Greenberg does comment. And I'm glad he did. You know why? Because Microsoft, it's just like the 5-Hour Gears campaign, Tim. If Microsoft say something, but they don't say it's exactly this and nothing else, and do not bring anything else inside this bubble, people say 5-Hour campaign, right? So Gaming Bolt reported that Microsoft is done acquiring studios for now, and a new interview with Aaron Greenberg. Aaron Greenberg comments after people complaining that that's not even what he said. He basically comments, and Colt, do you remember what he said? Effectively what he said?
Yeah, he said that's not what I said in the headline for sure, but people always kind of take their own perspective of it.
Yeah,
that's basically what he said.
I mean, at least he said something.
He acknowledged it. Clobril, shout out to Clobril. He basically was like, what the hell is this? This is like totally, reading into it, making up the headline. Basically called out the Gaming Bolt, and then Aaron kind of like, just came in there to, just say, yeah, kind of, take it as you want. But Aaron's not going to be, talking about studio releases or stuff like that. He basically, if you read the interview, it's pretty straightforward. It's like, it's an ongoing process. It's just like with Double Fine. They, that just happened. They are actively looking. They have an acquisition team. They're not done. So it's just, it's stupid. It was stupid. And it's sad that they have to come on and acknowledge every little, barn fires that fanboys start, and they want to like push it down everyone's throats. That's what they have to do, in my opinion.
It's not even fanboys though, man. It's the interviewee. Like that interview that they're going off of. Did you see how many times that guy asked him, well, are you bringing the games to other consoles? And he's like, no. Then he asked him again, well, let's say this game fits multi. He's like, no. Like, they asked it like 5 times, and I'm sitting there reading the interview, and I'm like, dude, fuck off. Ask another question.
Well, I can tell you this. They're all told right now they are not making games for the console. They're trying to get that message out. Sometimes they, like when that guy who talked about, Game Pass on all platforms, he's specifically talking about TVs, possibly PlayStation. If PlayStation, it would only be through xCloud, but PlayStation would never allow it, or Nintendo Switch, they probably wouldn't allow it either. But he's basically talking of the xCloud element, and then people will take that and they say, oh well, look, they're it's like they want the games to go on PlayStation 5, and they want it to be that way.
Why do they want those games though if th're trash, Tim?
Exactly, because they know that Xbox puts quality, and there's some insecurity there, and that's why we have to deal with barn fires every day with Twitter, with the smallest of things with regards to Microsoft. Yeah. But bottom line is that they're told, this is the way we're doing it now. So from now on, you're going to be hearing whoever's asked that question.
Well, why would they want
games
that?
are not?
They need to get their message straight though, because
Yeah.
it's
Agree.
kind of convoluted when you've got one guy saying one thing and another guy saying the total opposite. And then I know a lot of people are running with this. Ashen is going to be on PlayStation now and stuff. But people, you got to understand, that's not a Microsoft game. That wasn't made nor published by Microsoft.
Nope.
So it's ridiculous.
It's also on PC.
Yeah, I don't understand why people are even like this. Like, I mean, why would they stop buying studios when Matt Booty just had an interview and he was like, we have a whole team dedicated to that. It's like, did they just shut the team down 2 weeks later? They're like, nah, we're fucking done.
Why is he going to
Thanks,
XO? Why
John.
is he
Get
going
out of
to
here.
XO?
I ran
Like,
out
why-
of money.
why-
Fuck.
Yeah, we ran out of money. Microsoft, son of a bitch. No, they didn't. People, like, that's just, I don't understand why Gaming Bolt would even bring this out. And like you said, Dealer, I'm glad that Aaron Greenberg did say something, but it's such a weird thing with like, it must be so frustrating to be an Xbox executive. Like, people are like, don't say anything on Twitter, they'll annihilate you. And then it's like, well, I would like them to elaborate more on this. And it's like, when they do say it, they get 17 questions of the same question. Like, how many times can you answer the goddamn thing? Like, I don't understand, man. Like, just read it, see what they said, and be like, all right, move on. Like, I don't know, man.
You got to remember that when Microsoft talk all devices, especially all devices, I've heard Phil say this in several interviews. Devices meaning like cell phones, tablets, stuff like that, not necessarily the PlayStation. Secondly, you got to imagine a world where Sony are like, let's go ahead and enable Microsoft to install an app on our platform that lets them emulate or run Xbox games on our PlayStation, taking advantage of our 100 million plus users, and we'll also let our 100 million plus users sign into Xbox Live because that's the only way that it works. It's the only way Microsoft will let it work. That's where Game Pass is linked to.
100%.
That's how it works. So let's go ahead and let Microsoft leverage our audience for their profitability. What world does that make sense for Sony to even allow that on there in the first place?
Thank you.
It's all about active users as well. I mean, this would skyrocket Microsoft's active users.
100%.
It would look
It would.
bad to Sony stockholders. I mean, what?
And their
Here's
gamers
the
would know what a
thing, people-
multiplayer game is and a co-op.
Well
game.
said.
Terrible.
Well said.
Terrible.
Dealer.
God damn, how Zach, are you on some hate shit tonight?
I've been trying to
know.
say that
Piece
for
of shit.
months. But you said it 100% right on the money right there. It's never going to happen in a million years.
Well, in either case, I'm glad Aaron did comment on that. I like that when executives do. And keep in mind that executives aren't always allowed to do what they want. It's actually a problem at Microsoft. And we've heard about this in the past where they don't have unlimited reign. I mean, hell, Ybarra was just giving his opinion on a game, and people made a controversy out of that. It's the same reason you see hate videos, and then you'll see more and more hate videos about the same thing because they're trying to piggyback off of each other's videos. It's a whole dumb algorithm thing. And most of these guys don't even mean it. So it's all about money, man. It really does suck. And those of us who kind of talk about this and enjoy gaming don't really, I don't know. I guess we're just sitting here like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? But anyway, let me read this super chat. We got Viderman Xbox says they may delete games on other platforms. Internet goes crazy. Did they say that? They may release, sorry, misread that. They may release games on another platform. Internet goes crazy. This is Microsoft is a third-party developer. Sony says the same thing. Sony is a genius. That is a good point. Really, 5 points to you because they confirm that they are releasing their published games on PC and going to broader markets as well, as we discussed. I mean, Fonz, isn't it ironic?
Yeah, it's ironic. It's ironic that, we say this stuff, years ago that this is inevitable. It's the industry, it's where it's going. And then it happens and it gets put out there, hey, that they are looking into doing that. Hell, they hire Microsoft, to come over and fix their infrastructure, basically, when it comes to their online. And it's like, okay, so, I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, people. I think it's going to be further than just what they're saying, the whole multiplayer thing. I think it's going to be more than just multiplayer games. I think it's going to be their first party games eventually. Maybe they're 3 months old or something. They'll get put on PC or whatnot, but it's going to happen.
Well, we see it happening with Death
With
Stranding.
Sony, yeah.
Yeah. With Sony.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to put some games on PC at this point. The console market is saturated. They could use that PC, revenue, basically 100%. And they don't even have to do crossplay. They could just say, "Hey, do it." 3 months later. And
I mean, who was it? Quantic Dream said that Sony basically wanted them to release those games on PC. And Quantic Dream did. They released Heavy Rain on PC, and I think they're bringing Detroit to PC. I think. D-Batch, crawl out of your Snuggie and talk about some games with us.
But here's I just got to say real quick. Here's the catch, though. The thing is at the end of the day, most of us console gamers, we don't care. We don't care if they put their games on PC. We do not care.
Yep.
So
we told them it was happening years ago, D. Finally, Sony is starting to publish games on PC. They're talking about a broader appeal. They're going to have to extend I say over and over and over, the goal of a business is to make money. The only way to do that is to find more people. The only way to do that is to expand your platform, right?
Exactly. And then you got a lot of people that would double dip like myself. I'm going to get a PlayStation 5. I'm going to get a Scarlett, even though I have a capable PC. And I like the fact that when I get the games with Microsoft, I can get them on my PC and my Xbox, and most of the time have cross progression. So you're losing on a lot of customers by closing yourself. There's a bunch of users out there that would love to play an Uncharted, that would love to play some of Sony's franchises, but just won't get a PlayStation. And why would you box yourself out from those customers? That's money. And you're right. The bottom line of these companies is to make money. I own a business. I want to make money. I want to make dollars. And I want to reach as many people as I possibly can. And the days of just locking things down to your specific box are done. Things have to make sense. Like we're not going to see PS Now on Xbox, and we're not going to see, Game Pass on the PlayStation, but we are going to see these things on different devices. And it makes sense for them to try to reach all of these potential customers, and gamers just not getting hip with it are just too in love with their boxes, man.
Yeah, Colt, we've been in the middle of all this, and David Robinson, I see your ridiculous super tweet, man. I appreciate it. Or super chat. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna get to it in a second.
Wow.
Let me let Colt wrap this particular subject up of exactly what we're talking about here. You've got Aaron going on the record. You've got also Microsoft, I think last week, confirming that they are pulling some of their games back, basically, like with what Matt Booty's saying, and they are not focusing on other platforms. They are only focusing on their own first-party platforms. I don't personally care either way, because I'm not one of those that thinks God of War is a 94 because it's only on a PlayStation. It would be higher if it were on Xbox One X. It would look better. It would look better on PC. It would be a better game there. What are your thoughts on all of this kind of coming to fruition? We've been saying this shit for years.
Yeah, we have. We've been talking about how exclusives are changing. I think a lot of people are complaining because Microsoft has mixed messaging. I partially agree with that, but I think the other problem is we're not used to this changing landscape, and the adjustment, especially for the chronic fanboys who are celebrating being, having stuff walled into one platform. They don't understand that Sony is slowly moving this way. Xbox and Microsoft have been moving this way for over almost 5 years. That's part of the problem. And Matt Booty says that we're going to have exclusives. Aaron Greenberg says our games are going to stay on the console. They're not going to go to other consoles. Then the next day, Aaron Greenberg says, we want our games on every device. And everyone's like, what's with the mixed messaging? It's like, well, hold on. The problem is you don't understand what's going on. xCloud is a whole new animal. Play Anywhere and putting their games on their other platform on PC, on Windows PC, is a whole other animal. This is like a different way to have your games wherever you want to buy them. If you want to buy Scarlett, go ahead. If you want to buy a PC, go ahead. Microsoft just wants you to buy and play their games, be in the ecosystem, build up your library, play on Xbox Live. Sony wants the same thing. So that's the problem. It's not 100% mixed messaging with Microsoft. We have to adjust ourselves to this change that will ultimately benefit all of us, even the PlayStation gamers, as the whole entire platform starts to expand and become more flexible.
Well said. Amen. And you weren't even reading that. That was all in your brain.
Savage.
Game Pass is one of those things that is really, really flexible, because if you look at a similar model in, say, Netflix, I mean, we know that shows and movies, but if you look at what they're doing, essentially, if they put a Game Pass, if Sony were ever to allow that, which I doubt, but if they were to allow, say, their Game Pass over on their console, they can do different things on their console. They could say, okay, maybe it's day and date on the Xbox brand or on PC, but over on the PlayStation, you got to wait 6 months for that game.
Here's another thing stopping that, though.
If you look at Netflix, if you see what they do, they have different programming in different regions.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing for different boxes.
Yeah, something else that I didn't mention earlier is that another reason Sony would be like, no, you're not bringing that over here. They've already got a Game Pass. They got PlayStation Now. They got 200 downloadable titles and a bunch of streamable titles. Xbox have about the same amount of downloadable titles. xCloud, we told you a long time ago, will most likely, from what we heard, be bundled into Game Pass Ultimate. Same exact thing. This has been done before. Game Pass is just the first one to do it right.
Exactly.
I just want to say real quick, the gaming journalists as well, like these media outlets, they need to be held accountable too, because the trolls and the fanboys, I don't expect them to have common sense, but these big outlets, they should have common sense.
Yeah, they should.
And when Microsoft says we want our Game Pass on many devices or as many devices as possible, they're referring to TVs, laptops, cell phones. Tablets, and it's common sense. That's what they mean. But yet the trolls take it out of context and run with this false narrative saying that, it's going to come to all devices, including all these consoles, coming to the Switch and it's coming to the PlayStation. And it's just ridiculous. These outlets could really end that by just putting out a definitive piece saying, no, Microsoft did not mean it's coming to such and such.
Microsoft could control that from the beginning by saying that.
But here's the problem. Sean Layden or Phil Spencer, neither of them want to come outright and say what we want them to say, right? They don't want to say our games are not going to be on Nintendo Switch or PlayStation. And Sean Layden doesn't want to say we'll never allow our games to be on Nintendo Switch or an Xbox console. Because
it's just like, I don't care if they say it or not. I don't care if they do it or not. I want them to be clear on what they're saying. And I did speak to Aaron about this. And they're definitely going that route. Like I told him, hey, people are a little confused, and you saying this and clarifying things, along with the statement the other week, is good because people at least know what's going on. I don't care if they said it one way or the other because it didn't change my enjoyment, but people are less confused. That's good for everybody.
Right, but I do have to say I agree with you. They shouldn't make it an issue. They should be on top of their stuff. They should not have, people coming out 2 days later confusing the message. They have to do better. They have to get the messaging down. If they get the messaging down, they will be fine, because what the engineers and all the developers have planned for the system is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Don't screw it up by confusing matters or what you're up against. Just have one central voice, be concise, and you'll be fine.
Yes. I got to give a massive shout out to David Robinson. He says, RDX, the best podcast for our Xbox. Don't listen to the foolishness. Haters, $70 super chat, by the way. Thank you so much. He says, haters are going to hate, and naysayers are saying, what did they know? They are not even playing. And it looks like everyone's getting paid here. I'm going to send all of you guys some money on PayPal today, so be sure to send me your PayPal links. This is for everybody. Thank you so much, David. We do appreciate it, man. Everybody who contributes, all that stuff helps. I don't know, man. So much going on. Tim, I'm just seeing your message. Okay. Let me go back up to the topics here, since that shot me down to the bottom. But hey, at least we don't have a billion topics this time. Let's go ahead and move on to real quick, because it just came out and people have already been asking me. Control reviews. I do have the game. I could have got it early, but I didn't want to actually make a review on the game. But I am playing it now, and right now I can say that I like it more than Quantum Break already. Now, for those that don't know, I gave Quantum Break like a 7.5, I think it was. I don't remember at the time. But this game is at an 84 meta on Metacritic. Quantum Break was at a 74, so 10 points higher. Xbox One X is by far the best version, the smoothest running version, according to John Lindemann. And not only that, but Sony apparently may be swooping these guys up. There was a tweet or some message that they deleted And the rumor is that Sony have acquired Remedy, and they're going to drop this on X019 and try to crush the news like they did with Insomniac. So, I mean, D-Batch, is that a good strategy? I mean, first and foremost, has anybody else played Control? I played it.
I just bought it.
You just bought it?
Yeah, I played. Actually, I dropped the video today. You guys check out the link.
Well, give people your impressions.
From what I played from it so far, it's got that Quantum Break feel to it. To be honest with you, obviously they're using the same type of engine, so it has a lot of similarities, especially with the powers and just the way the world is rendered, and even like their checkerboarding is made a return for this, even on PC. So it's quite demanding, to say the least. But the story, I like the story. Now, this was one of these things where I thought, I don't know if I'm going to really get the story, because it was kind of all over the place from the clips, just like the walking simulator that's coming out. What's the name of it? Death Stranding, like how it's all over the place. So I was a little bit worried about it, but after playing the game for about half an hour, you got a general idea of what's going on and how we got there. You still have more questions, but you're not completely lost. The tech in the game is fantastic. I'm playing it on PC. I fired it up on my Radeon, and I also fired it up on my 2070 Super so I could see some ray tracing. And the ray tracing is well done. It's punishing, but it looks excellent. And overall, the game plays well. And if you like Remedy games, you're gonna like this game. So far, I'm really digging it. I don't really have anything majorly bad to say about it. Like, some of the facial stuff is a little bit stiff at times. There's certain animations that are a little bit stiff, but at this point, I'm kind of like nitpicking. It's a great game. I'm digging it. At this point in time, I haven't gone too much into it, but still, I think it's definitely a must play. It's got a really, really great and different kind of story.
Awesome. Juice B in the Super Chat says, is Microsoft afraid of Google Stadia? Nobody's afraid of Google Stadia. I'll just throw that out there. Google Stadia has so much working against it. It's in times 20 Earth gravity right now. Like that thing's having a hard time standing up. Like, they have no solid
platform. Can I just say something really quick about Google
Stadia
though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed one thing. I noticed on their last direct, I think it was at Gamescom, and they showed a lot of fighting games. And it went through my head. These guys either have a suicide wish, or they're really confident in their technology, because to have a fighting game through the cloud, you have to have really, really low latency. I'll say this: it's either going to be glorious or it's going to fail. And if it doesn't fail, I really do think it's going to be a game changer, because I saw a lot of new games that are going to be coming to that service, and it also bodes well for some PC guys, because they're using Vulkan, and there's not a lot of games on the PC that use Vulkan.
They're outclassed on every single level, though, D. Like, they don't have the install base. You can't even download the fucking games if you buy them. I mean, there's so many problems with it compared to something like xCloud.
Wait, hold up. So you're telling me if you have a game on Stadia and you have a PC,
you can't download them? No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. There should be. You paid for the game. You should be able to play it on your local hardware as well. That's kind of a bummer, especially if you paid for the game. The games that they include with their monthly service, of course, those games I can understand. Once you unsubscribe, then you don't have access to them. But the ones that you're buying, let's see how that pans out. Or people use your Twitter fingers, and if you don't like that, complain, and maybe we can get that changed.
Yeah, it's. No, I'm done with it. I'm not even gonna fuck with it. How about that? I'm not even gonna fuck with it.
Nope.
Scottish Gamer in the Super Chat says something a little fucked up. He says, my old high school just burnt down. I'm celebrating. Well, that's very relevant information, and we appreciate the support, man.
I hope that's not a confession.
I hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone's safe there, Scottish.
Have the feds. I hope we don't have the FBI question us.
Yeah, I hope everyone's safe there, Scottish Gamer. I don't want that to happen. Or you could just be joking.
Try to put the fire out while you're at it.
Spriggan says
instead of tweeting.
Spriggan says, I told Lethal Pampa I give it a 100% I give it a 100% to make it to the show. I made it. Shout out to the squad of the Realist Gaming Podcast. Thank you so much. Sorry, I can't read. Also. I'm like trying to multitask the chat's moving.
my
I'm
God.
like, I'm
So
struggling.
he's basically saying he was going to give 110% chance, a try.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Midway says, what is Sony trying to do acquiring all these single-player games? Their engagement will spike and then fall. Well, I hear you, Midway, but also, those games, if they're good, they generate hype, man. They get people talking. So I think there's a trickle-down effect, just like a multiplayer game. I think everything has its own niche. Element of PO, holy shit, says YouTube has a hard time working right now. Will Stadia do the same? Yeah. Remember, Google has had a lot. They're a big company, one of the biggest in the world, but Google Glass, Google Plus, I mean, soon Stadia, there's a lot of things that'll fall off, and we'll see how that goes, man. I just don't have too much faith in that. And then let's go ahead and knock the last one out that's on screen. Mo Cool Kid, what's going on, brother? He says, what's up, dealer? Fam, support my bro. Hit that like button. I do agree. Hit that like button, guys. We have over 800. We got 867 people watching right now. Hit that like button. Let's blast past 300 likes, 1,000 after the fact. You guys are awesome. Share this out. Help us out. Man, okay. Now that I got through those, we can dive back into the topics here. But Control is reviewing well. My impressions are the game has very, very impressive physics. The game looks really good on the Xbox One X. The physics are really cool. Like if you got a guy next to a ledge, and you hit him with melee enough, that ledge will start breaking and breaking, ripping apart. Like it's one of the few games where if you shoot the wall on certain paneling, the paneling will fall off the wall. That's not common in consoles. So I got to give a shout out to Remedy for getting their technical stuff up and going on the Xbox One X. Apparently by far the best version. Now, Fonz, besides PC, of course. Now, Fonz, go in on this Kojima tweet real quick before we move on.
Hold on. You missed a nice little nugget before we move on from Remedy.
Go ahead.
You were talking about how it ran on the X. Somebody said, John Linneman of Digital Foundry said he's working on the analysis, but he has to get confirmation from one of the consoles because he's having a really bad frame rate problem. It's dipping down to 5 frames per second.
And that's the Pro.
I would bet, I bet that was the Xbox One X. And he said, no, actually, that's by far and away the best running version and best looking version.
What kind of idiot would say, I bet that's the Xbox One X, knowing that the Xbox One X is technically superior vastly, pretty much on every single metric? Not vastly on the CPU, but
and also they're familiar with the hardware with Quantum Break, right? So it's optimized already for it.
But I'll tell you what kind of person that is. That's an Xbox hater.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a clown. So that was so we'll be seeing that pretty soon. But the funny thing is, we've had the X for 2 years. I don't really watch those analyses as closely as I used to. Like it's like a broken record. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know the story. We know the story. Yeah. It's gonna dominate anytime a developer actually tries.
So yeah, let's talk about this Hideo Kojima.
Can you read this out and then kind of give us your reaction?
Yeah, I sure will. Basically, people keep asking him, hey, what kind of game is Death Stranding? So this comes from the man, the myth, the legend, Hideo Kojima. So listen up, folks. He says, since I get this question a lot, Death Stranding is different from stealth game. You can enjoy first-person view, but not a first-person shooter game. It's brand new game genre that adapted the concept of Strand that we all call action game, Strand game, social Strand system. So,
sounds like he doesn't even know what the fuck it is.
Look, I mean, the last sentence.
You sound like me trying to read a super chat, Fonz. Holy shit.
Okay.
Read that last sentence again.
So it's a brand new game genre that adapted the concept of Strand that we call action game. Strand game, social Strand system.
Strand.
Basically, the thing is like this. Look, I know there's some broken English there. There's a language thing, but you can basically get the gist of what he's saying. But I still don't get it. I mean, it could be David Attenborough reading this to me, and I wouldn't get it. Like, it makes no sense. The thing is like at the end of the day, he keeps calling it a Strand game. What
is a Strand game, Fonz?
I know this is supposed to be like a social connection type game. With other people out there, not necessarily a multiplayer type thing, but just you being in this universe connected to everybody else within that universe and stuff. I get that that's what he's trying to go for, but as far as what I'm seeing in the gameplay, it's nothing but a bunch of walking around, pulling ladders out of my butt, peeing on mushrooms, and just doing some weird stuff. Like this game it's already been said. Like I've read several interviews that this game is going to be a lot of walking, and everybody who makes fun of walking simulators and whatever, this game is the epitome of that. It's going to be
the main objective. Yeah, that is the main objective in the game, is to walk from one side of the coast to the other side of the coast.
And look, everybody knows I personally think Kojima's overrated, but it's just because his games, a lot of them anyway, do not make sense. I feel he's trolling people with some of this stuff.
Oh, no.
Hey, take your hate comments to the Grounded Gamer here on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, come on. Like, look at his games. Like, some of his games just don't make any sense. So, in this game, I mean, it's probably one of those things where in his mind it makes complete sense.
What do you mean, Fonz?
Like, I can never understand it.
You didn't get the whole ghost baby breastfeeding and whatnot and all the piss mushrooms.
I didn't get
falling
the whole
off a cliff and shaking the baby to see if it's okay.
From Metal Gear Solid 2 to Metal Gear Solid 5, I don't get everything that goes on in these games, and nobody does out there.
Well, I know they're out of order.
Nobody.
I think it's the way everyone's talking, the way people are acting. I can see a delay with this game for sure.
No, it's not going to be delayed. This game is going to be praised to high heavens. This game is going to get.
I don't think you can praise that.
It will because everybody, all the fans, because there's Kojima fanboys that hang on to every word.
I know that there is.
Jeff Keighley.
I can't see it.
The relationship with Jeff Keighley.
The game does not look 90 caliber.
Everybody who's a big Kojima fanboy think that this game is going to be game of the year. And mark my words, it probably will be game of the year, just based on that fanboy population. Okay,
I think the game's
a lot of them are journalists. I mean, we just read an article last week that said this is already the best game ever, and I haven't even played it.
That's a good point, Fonz. But I gotta ask you this: did you wake up and just Kojima was like over you, just breathing on your face? Like, what did this man do to you?
Here's the thing: within that same article where he said, "I've never played it, but it's the best game ever," it even talks about the boring gameplay. The guy even uses words like boring, like. What is going on? Like, I don't understand it. I don't.
Hey, chat, almost 900 of you. Let us know if you see where Fonz is coming from. I've got that bitch paid for. I feel like I took a $60 L already, but I guess we'll see. I don't really know exactly what I'm in store for here. Zucker, you'll be playing it, right?
I'm actually really gonna be playing. I'm gonna give it a shot, like I did whatever Days Gone.
Hey, I could be completely wrong. I'm gonna try it too, man. Don't get it twisted. I'm getting the game as well, but I'm not like hyped for it. I'm not.
Let us know your thoughts, chat. I'm very intrigued. Element Appeal says Death Stranding is anything you want it to be, except for the game that you want it to be.
That's a great statement. That's a good little line. I like it.
Zucker, you can tell Zucker really liked that one. He's on that hate shit today.
What? I am a little bit. I was a little fuck bitch.
So I mean, all things given, Zucker, and then I'll come to Colt. What do you make of this crazy ass tweet that Colt actually took the time to translate the original version and then translate it back to make sure this is actually what it said? What do you take from this? A strand of what? What are we stranding?
I honestly think it's a guy that's trying to, like, all right, like I'm with Fonz on the, I think Kojima is completely overrated. I think it's a guy that's just trying to make shit up to make it seem like he's smarter than everybody else in the room.
Jesus, so all these conspiracy theories.
I'm
just being honest. I'm just being honest here. Like that after I read it, like, I don't know, whenever he posted, I read it and I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're first person, but you can't be first person, so it's an action adventure. But it's not. It's stranding. It's like, all right, dude. Like, move it along.
Well, you ever play Gone Home? That's first person, but I don't even think you have hands in that game.
Look at the gameplay. He said himself that he created a new genre. I don't see a new genre here.
What new genre? All I saw him go is deliver something to Jeff Keighley's fucking Hollow Ghost, and then he fell off a cliff, and then he shook a baby, and then pissed and had a mushroom come up, and then like it was just dumb, and then he beat someone with a briefcase. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, no,
I think you're just jealous.
Revolutionary thing.
I think you're just mad because you can't do that stuff.
Hey, I can't piss outside and bring mushrooms up. Like I tried.
I got to give a shout out to So Shady in the chat. What's going on, brother? We are doing good, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Colt, like I said, you took the time to make sure this is actually what he was saying. You've kind of been, on the more light side of these things. You're kind of optimistic about it, more optimistic than me. I'm not hating, but I'm confused as fuck. What are your thoughts on the tweet?
Yeah, Kojima's always made high-rated games. I'm intrigued because it's just got total production value, but I'm with Fonz and Zocker, but I have a nicer way of saying it. I think Kojima he wants to be like a big like cinematic director, but he is stuck in the niche of video games, and he doesn't make movies, so he goes above and beyond what a video game can be. I just have never really lined up with much of his stuff. There's some Metal Gear games I've really loved, but here's what I'm thinking: like, it'll get Game of the Year probably. Is
No
my
way.
So he's,
No,
he's not stuck, Colt. He's not stuck
I
in
will
the
make
video
bets
game.
on this.
He
That
doesn't
shit
have-
does
he doesn't
not
have
look
the-
like it's Game of the
Listen.
Year.
Hang on. So Colt said it might be Game of the Year.
Look, 'cause when I hear Zocker and Fonz talk, I hear like angry salivation.
Well,
Now
I could
I'm
care
just
less.
going to be,
looking at your
real
butt.
with you.
But
I'm going to
if
be
I'm
real
gonna
with
be
you
if
'cause
I'm
I know.
gonna be real, go on.
Hold on, I'm going to be real with you because I know this industry. I know how it is. This game is going to get nominated for Game of the Year. It has a really good chance of getting Game of the Year because the only thing that could beat Death Stranding from Game of the Year is Gears 5. There's no other game this entire year that has a big story like Metro.
Borderlands?
Metro.
I think you
kinda
guys are
close.
forgetting about Sekiro.
Sekiro?
That's a
Sekiro?
90 something.
Another
Resident
Yeah,
Evil 2.
Sekiro
Resident Evil 2
Sekiro
is in the
amazing.
90s as well.
Okay,
Sekiro,
so here's what's
Sekiro.
going to happen. Here's the only thing that could hold.
Anthem, obviously, Game of the Year. Yes.
Here's what I think is probably going to happen. All right. Now this is where it gets wacky. All right. Everybody has high hopes for this, but these professional critics are going to play this game. They're going to be so weirded out by this story and this different type of game that they're not used to. There may be a lot of critics that just can't bring themselves to go all the way through in full enjoyment, and the number will just start to go down as they go through this really weird, convoluted story.
They're enamored with Kojima so much that the industry loves Kojima. This is going to get a 90+ Metascore and be nominated for Game of the Year.
I cannot see that.
I'm
know
gonna say
what?
this. You said he's stuck. You said he's stuck in the video game industry. He's not stuck, bro. I'm sorry to break it to you. He doesn't have the talent to go to the movie industry.
Fact.
That's just the way it is.
now.
What the hell is wrong
He
with
can't
you
tell-
guys?
He can't. I'm sorry. No, that's just a fact. He can't. Like,
Did you sit there during his tryout when he tried to direct Jurassic Park 3? Like, what the fuck happened? How
I
do you
don't
know?
know, man. Like, hey, I'm just saying, bro. Like, you see, like, you think you said it's gonna start getting
I don't
nutty.
know
That
about
tweet was
that.
fucking
I
nutty.
don't know.
Like,
I
it started
think-
nutty.
All right. D-Batch, you haven't spoken on this topic. I want to hear you.
On the levels, I see where Colt's coming from. On the levels of hype, apart from Gears, I don't see any other game having the same type of hype level that Death Stranding has, and it had a few years to build that up. And as much as we call it a walking simulator and whatnot, the game looks gorgeous. Can't deny that.
Does
The
look
game
good.
is a beautiful looking game, and we know that the PlayStation guys, they don't care if it's 30 frames per second or 22 frames per second. They care if it looks good. So a lot of people are just
Can
gonna
I
rate it on
deliver
its-
a corpse to somewhere? Yes, I can do that.
people are just gonna rate it on its looks alone. And then of course you got Healy in the game. You got him running the Game Awards, and you start putting two and two together and how the industry is.
Yeah.
And I can possibly see it winning it.
That's what I was
agree.
I was
could
saying. The
possibly
only
see it
way.
with it too.
That's what I was saying. The
can't see
only
that
way
at
that
all.
this could drop below Game of the Year status or super high Metacritics is if these critics are playing through the game and it just starts to turn them off and they start to lower their score. But I just don't really see it happening.
Well, hey, we
I'm gonna
just
tell you what I
we just hit 900 people watching. Shout out to everybody watching.
Awesome.
All right, everybody hit that like button. Help us crush 400 likes, 1,000 after the fact. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Share this out. I have to say that. I have a gun to my head. Dream Eater says, did you guys try that Popeye's chicken sandwich? No, I did not, and I don't know what that's all about. Sorry, Dream Eater. We are in the middle of a riveting conversation.
I tell you real quick, you got to go to Popeyes.
Oh, my
You
God.
enter in as number 1. There's 30 other contestants. Whoever is the last man standing gets the sandwich.
Okay,
Oh
well,
my gosh.
let's go ahead and move back to what the fuck we were talking about. Other than
Yeah,
chicken.
let's do that.
Death Stranding, I think the critics might surprise you. I think they will do like they did with Days Gone and review this game more accurately than some of you think.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
That's what
I
I'm
thought
saying.
Days Gone was higher than the 72. Like I made the review.
I thought it was lower.
Yeah, but you didn't even fucking beat the game.
You don't
They'll
count.
have a good cinematic.
Did you beat these bitch? No. Fucking bitch going at me.
I sure did. That
No,
game,
you
that game was actually a 78. It was more like a 78.
I'm fucking with you, but I'm just saying, frame rate drops, everything. Fucking move it along.
I mean, there was performance issues, yes, but I did like Days Gone. And it was made by a smaller team. There were some issues, but at the end of the day, I think the critics may surprise a lot of you. I think this game is probably going to be a low 80.
I'm with you. 82.
Yeah, I agree. Actually,
Really?
But that's
actually
not
pretty,
an
I think that's
insult.
pretty
Really?
fair.
That's not
Really,
an insult.
Dealer?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, there's only
what
so
we
much.
see-
Well,
What-
if it scores that low, it disqualifies it from Game of the
Just-
Year. For sure.
Well, that would be like it's his lowest game ever made.
No, it's gonna be at least a 90, guys. You guys.
Yeah, I'm with Fonz.
I
on
would
that.
say, I would say,
We'll-
I would say
we'll
82, 82 to mid 80, but that's just my opinion.
I'm
Let
82
us
to
know.
80.
Let us know. 900 people. Let us know. Let us see 900 meta predictions in the chat right now. What do you think
For
Death
Death
Stranding?
Stranding.
What do you think Death Stranding is
Right?
going to get?
Yeah, write the Metacritic. What do you think it's going to get?
76.
I'm starting to think that Konami was right.
76, 61, 78, 75, 90.
I'm gonna go 81. I'm gonna go 81.
82.
81.
Oh, you guys are going to eat some L's.
I mean,
you're
we
gonna
might
eat
eat
it
some
up.
L's. Don't get me wrong. Like, I get people love him and the industry loves him, but like I said, man, just the games he's brought out, I haven't cared for.
I haven't either, but I can't put that in the Metascore.
Hmm.
The Metascore is not one
What do
person.
you
The
think
Metascore
it
is
is? What do you
everybody,
think it
all the
is, Carl?
professionals and the clowns that have an official review.
The professionals and the clowns. Clowns
Yeah.
coming in writing reviews.
Yeah, I mean, but look at it. Like when we look at this generation, there aren't very many games that got critically panned or got critically reviewed wrongly. Like I just played through Horizon Zero Dawn. What was that as a Metacritic?
Like an 89.
89. I mean, I love that game, but I would give it a low 80 or maybe a mid 80 at the most. But it's still, but that's not like a bad
I
review
get what you're
score.
saying. I get what you're
Or a
saying.
wrong
Like,
review
I think
score.
Spider-Man should have been a little higher. I thought
I
that
do
game
too.
was amazing. I think
Yeah,
Spider-Man
what
should
is
have
it?
been a little higher.
87? I mean 87.
I'd
still
put
good.
it at like a
You know,
9.2.
That's like a 7.5 in my book.
David
I can't
Robinson.
even talk to you, Fonz, because you like Red Dead too.
David Robinson says Fonz is right. Say it exactly like that. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to catch up on these. New member, which is always a good thing. We got Dave Incubus. Hey, Dave. I know I've talked to you several times in the comment section. Members, by the way, be sure and go to that community tab on the YouTube channel here. And there are a bunch of posts there for members. And you can join the RDX Discord and all that stuff. And, of course, the emoji and all that stuff. Colt, we got to get some more of those, by the way. So thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate it. I know there's more super chats here. I'm trying to get to them. We've got Uncapped Basher. He says, yo, there's critics who can't figure out the tutorials in indie games. Wait till they get a load of Death Stranding. The the Cuphead game. Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know, man. Death Stranding's a intriguing game, but I need more. Gamer by Choice says, look at movie awards. Those weird adult films win. What the? Okay. Oh, those weird
Yeah.
subtle films. Okay.
Oh,
Not adult.
I might be
films.
dyslexic. What's my problem? Adult.
I might be.
I don't know what's going on. I think the same people play
You can
games.
click
Yes.
it on the top right and it stays there without scrolling, right? Like you
Well,
just click.
yeah, but
the
the
super
problem is
chat.
I have a bunch of windows open and stuff now with OBS and all this stuff keeps popping up. Windows is like, hey, this guy's
Damn
sending a message on
Discord.
Xbox.
Yeah, you guys have to remember, dealer's dealing with like 5 different windows and his phone and the.
If you need me to read something, just say it, bro. I got
How about that, Zucker? Next one, I'll have you tackle it. That'd be great.
you. I got you, bud.
So would it be okay, dealer, if like if Dell or JD like took a piss on the side of the road in one of the gameplay trailers, or would people be like, what the heck's going on here?
And a little
Forgot
juvie
the
crawls
mushroom.
out of the ground, sprouts out.
They're pissing on the locust hole just to close it.
I don't know, man. I have no clue.
Just
Wow.
the fact that gameplay went from walking to standing there and taking a leak, and people applauded it. I'm like, what?
They stood
Hey,
up.
what
Really
about the
boring.
people? What about the people wondering why you couldn't see it? It's like, hell's going
What?
on here?
D.
How come only going to see one mushroom head?
So people wanted to.
Oh my god. Okay.
Move on. Next
We're
topic.
not
Next
supposed to
topic.
be sitting here hating on
Moving
Death
on.
Stranding. Come on now.
No, it's just a mushroom joke.
Kojima's tweet was interesting. Kojima's tweet was interesting.
Yeah, but we're definitely not hating on the game just to hate on the game. I mean, we're speaking our real opinions here.
You're hating on the game, Fonz. You hate the man. Forget the game.
I feel about Kojima. That's how I feel about him. He's overrated, and I think he's just overloved in the industry.
Okay, let me tell you guys a quick story. When I met Fonz in real life last weekend, I drove up by his hometown and we met, and I had it all planned out. I walked up. The first thing I did is pulled my phone out of my pocket. I had a full screen picture of Kojima, and Fonz goes, "Oh man, get it out of here!"
Yep.
Totally triggered.
Hopefully Death Stranding, for the sake of all of our money, right? Hopefully Death Stranding is the best game that it can be. We kind of spent way too long letting people rant on Kojima. By the way, David Jaffe went on, and there's people that don't like certain people in this community, but me and Zaire have had our ups and downs. Next Gen 720, right? But we're cool, right? We always fucking around, talking shit, having fun, and people take that seriously and think that we're actually taking shots, or that he's actually taking shots, stuff like that. But on his show, he did have David Jaffe on his show, and David Jaffe went on this rant about some things that we don't bother talking about because we stay away from these social issues. There's no win. There's no point. Let people, whatever. I don't want to fuck with it, honestly. And apparently there was a troll on the podcast, just a troll. No one gives a shit who he is. And he was talking shit about Game Pass, and David Jaffe, and this is what I hear. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but Jaffe just shut this guy down like so hard and said, Game Pass is Fonzie, you know what happened here? Did you see it?
I watched it. Yeah. I watched
the report, Fonz.
Show. Anyway, so these people are, naysaying Game Pass as they usually do, and Jaffe just shut them down. It said basically a lot of the same things that me and you have said on this show before, that all of us here have said when it comes to Game Pass. The pros about it, the fact that he feels that Sony's going to have to do something similar to compete in the future, because he thinks this is the way the industry is going as well. He thinks it's he said just a lot of things that we've been saying. Everything about how Game Pass, has how they're not going to just throw shovelware in there, because that makes no sense from a business standpoint. You can't just put a thing like this out there and expect it to sell without great games. So he just shut people down a lot with things like that. And it was just common sense that, we've been saying, but because it comes from David Jaffe, people were listening a little more. So,
yeah. And I heard the troll who usually just never shuts up and always says a lot of the dumbest shit I hear all the time. Just didn't say anything pretty much the rest of the show. Just like, was
there something else that shut him up in that podcast, Fonz? He was making fun of something else. I don't know if it was Xbox Game Studios and AA or something like that, wasn't it?
Oh, the AA thing. I don't remember.
Xbox was making, I think he said something like Xbox is making nothing but AA, and I think he said
to push Game Pass.
That's why I was thinking about shovel.
They hired way more talent, and they've hired the talent that they've had. Like, how can you even think that? To even think that's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where he was talking about how they weren't just putting a bunch of AA games shovelware into Game Pass, because that's not going to sell. He said that's, Netflix couldn't even do that. You have to put quality shows within there. So same thing here. You got to put quality games in there to get it to sell.
Well, holy shit. Common sense, people.
But what kills me is that all this information is public. Like we see everybody that they're acquiring and where they're coming from,
but these guys are in their own little bubble, though. D, they don't read. Jeez. They don't read. Like, it's not like we're making the shit up. We report on articles and then link it for you. They won't read those, and then they'll say, "Oh, they're working on AA little dog shit."
They'll say, "My Google doesn't work. I can't read your link."
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, there's obviously there's the side that links their statements, and there's a side that just says, "Hey, Game Pass is trash. They're just making nothing but AA's and fuck Xbox." Like, if you're that kind of radical, just get the fuck out of here. No one takes you seriously.
Game Pass is great, man. I've said it from day one. I love Game Pass. I don't care. And I'm not an Xbox guy per se. I'm just a gamer. I love Game Pass. I think Game Pass is phenomenal. I wish Sony would adopt the same format. I would love day and date games over on Sony's side.
That's from the grounded gamer.
Hey, G-Man, what's going on, brother? Nice to see you in the chat. when is Drawn to Death 2 coming to Game Pass? No clue, Elementary Peel. No clue. But yeah, shout out to Zaire again. Hey, even if he's on the Sony side now, whatever. It's like football teams, man. Like, look at it that way. I don't take this shit all that seriously.
He's gonna be an Xbox fan. Again.
I don't take that. I'm like you, Tim. Like, I don't sit there and be like, oh, this guy likes PlayStation now, and he's a friend of mine or whatever. Like, I don't like him now. Like, that's not how it works. So, shout out to Zaire and his show. Good stuff there.
Claim your box. Claim your box.
I would knew Zaire before Xbox. I knew him on Facebook.
Yep. I've known Zaire. I used to watch Zaire stuff before. That's one of the reasons I started YouTube, actually.
Yeah, he was the one that really kicked it off for a lot of YouTubers. I remember when he had a debate with Blockbuster Critic, and that was like the start of it all. And then he was there at the beginning.
Yep.
And he was Xbox. I still think he still likes Xbox. He just rags on Xbox. I don't think he's that big of a Phil fan, but it is what it is. He's my friend for like life. People think this is way too serious. They just have no idea.
They got like pitchforks and
he's
stuff.
He's the type of guy I'd meet it, if I was in where he was, we'd meet up and hang out.
Yeah.
Good people.
Hey, just to move on, Aaron Greenberg hints at Japanese games having a more broad appeal. He says Microsoft can bring Japanese games to a wider audience, a wider market. And this comes back to something Fawn said a while back, is where, hey, maybe they do acquire a Japanese studio. Maybe they do put out some of these games that won't appeal here on the box natively in North America to a lot of people. But through something like xCloud, they can then bring that to markets all around the world, anywhere with a 4G connection. If you got a data center near you or in that region, you can play those games that may appeal to you a little bit more. They may see more engagement, more sales that way, Fonz.
Yep, that's true, man. That's what I've said about, how, some markets are more invested into, portable systems and stuff. Their cell phones, playing games on phones. A lot of those Asian countries, they do a lot of cell phone games. And that's where I could see, xCloud becoming a really big thing there with Japanese games and stuff. It can be a really big hit all over the, the world. So that 2 billion gamer thing, is that a little far-fetched? Maybe, but they're trying to reach that audience. I get it. I understand. It's a business.
And you put it perfectly. The Japanese market, all that, the console sales in the Japanese market have fucking tanked. Like, there's been articles about it. You guys can look it up. Like, the console sales over there have just gone really down, even for PlayStation, everything. The one that's killing it is the Switch because it's mobile. And that's what they want.
And it comes with a free knife.
Okay. And so that's kind of what that market wants. That's what they want, is something mobile that they can take with them. And if xCloud is what they say it is, it's going to kill it. And if they have Game Pass with Japanese JRPGs, Japanese games on there that like appeal to that market, it could be a hit. You never know, man. You just never know unless you try.
We're talking about Aaron again, actually. He's been very active here lately. He does confirm we did speak on the Game Pass thing and the messaging thing earlier. He talked about hopefully Microsoft can clear some of that up and be very specific next time, because if some of these radicals can take it and spin it, they will. He also confirms that X019, he says we have a lot of new content coming from both Xbox Game Studios as well as third-party partners. He also says that new announcements for completely new games will be there as well at X019. That is in London this November, and that comes from Aaron Greenberg. So, that's interesting.
They're not going to throw any new games at XO. They won't do it.
Well, people shouldn't expect Fable 4, I don't think, or any of that.
Well, no, I think they'll show. I think they'll make XO. They've hyped it up for a little bit. They've hyped it up for a little bit.
You guys really think Fable will be at XO?
What did he say? What did he say in that interview?
He said new announcements for completely new games will be there, but that doesn't mean Fable.
He said something about Playground games, didn't he?
No, I don't think it'll be Fable. If you're using common sense, you're gonna do.
All right, I'll look up the article.
You do Fable, in E3. I think it could be Ninja Theory though.
Well, okay, I mean, they have to show Bleeding Edge before release, or maybe showcase some new maps. Like XO is not an E3, I don't think. I mean, E3.
I don't know. They've hyped it up, dude. They've talked about like Matt Booty's going to be there, Phil Spencer's going to be there, like basically the whole everybody's going to be there. I think it's going to be something from that region. I think studio from that region, because they have it in London and they have a couple studios that work together there. Like Ninja Theory, I think, is over there. Rare, I think maybe Rare's new IP might be shown off. They, I don't know, man. We never know what can be shown over there. I don't want to get too big where it's like this big AAA game that we all been waiting for. I don't know if it's going to be anything like that. But, we just talked about Remedy basically dropping something, right? Like, or PlayStation buying them and, showing Remedy that they bought them during XO. Well, maybe Xbox is thinking, hey, let's save something for XO in case some shit does happen, which, never has happened before. But
well, if they did do Fable, let me ask the panel, what do you think would you think it would be a good thing, and would you do it? We all know Fable is in the works. We all know
E3 2020 is going to be massive.
Not everybody knows Fable's
I don't think I don't know. It's kind of tough because at XO, at least they'd have all the attention to themselves there for that. At E3, it could get lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I don't know. I think they need something for E3. Like if they show, to me, like in my head, this is what I would think, right? Like as a logical person, if they show Fable at XO, like they better have something ready for fucking E3. Because Sony's coming to E3. E3 next year is going to be extremely competitive. The new consoles, all that shit. So that means to me they have something really special planned for E3 where, I don't know.
Okay, I'm confused on this because I know it was assumed to be Playground Games, but I don't know who it was going to be. But there was that job listing that came out like a year and a half ago or something where they were looking for somebody to work on a Horizon Zero Dawn style game for Xbox. So who's making that game?
That was at the beginning of 2017, and that's Playgrounds' Fable team, quote unquote.
Yeah, second team. Yeah, their second team.
Hey, whatever happened to the game that the Coalition was doing before they were called to work on Gears when they were
Shanghai Heist? I have no clue.
Shanghai Heist, that's gone.
They canceled it.
Oh, okay.
I think their official statement was it was like not on hold, or I don't know. They said they might reuse some stuff they had from that game or something in the future. I don't know. But like, I wouldn't set my expectations that high for XO, man. I mean, even E3 fell on his face, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think I would say Aaron Greenberg in the same interview did say that their studios are working on multiple games. Like one studio is working on multiple games. Mm-hmm. So I think, in my head, I'm thinking that the smaller studios are working on 2 games at a time. And then the bigger AAA studios, right? The ones that they're buying are AA to AAA. They said in between. I think those studios are trying to get games out every 2 years to 2.5 years. And I think the big ones like Gears, Coalition, all them in Initiative, they're going to give them time to make those big AAA games that come out in between the other ones.
I think they're going to give everyone time. I don't think it matters what you're working on. Element of PO, he says Halo Wars pop.
I think my advice for anybody going into the XO event, I think, would just be to keep your expectations at bay. Don't overhype it for yourself at all, because especially after the E3 we had, just go in and try to enjoy the show for what it is. Don't really expect too much. That way, if there is something that's big, is there, you can get excited and.
The one thing I do expect is a Japanese studio. That's the only thing I expect to see. Because they brought it up. Phil's brought it up. A bunch of people have brought it up. So I think that's the closest thing to happening.
Minnock in the super chat says, thanks for all the great info and entertainment, guys. Keep it up. Taking a leak as a game mechanic totally sounds like trolling. Just saying. I see what happens when there's no windows popping up. I don't know, man. We can't go back into that again, but it is confusing. Also for the PlayStation 5, and again, guys, if you're checking this out, hit that like button. We've already passed 400, but fuck it, let's go further. And 1,000 after the facts. Thanks so much. Let's talk about our topic here with The Last of Us 2. We all know that's coming out. That's going to be a big game. That's probably going to destroy in 2020, no matter what you want to believe. It's definitely going to be a serious contender for Game of the Year, if not a fucking certainty. And apparently it's getting the full PS5 treatment debadge. I don't know if you saw this leak. I mean, I didn't read too far into it, but there's some kind of slide out there. Somebody trying to leak the fact that Last of Us 2 is getting a full-on PlayStation 5 treatment. They're doing all this different stuff to it, and it kind of comes back to people talking about there's gonna be no cross-gen games on PS5. This is just the first of many to come. Last of Us 2. I would expect that it'll be 60 FPS, and they'd kind of bring all that forward, but again, I don't have all the information here. Just something to kind of let everybody know about. Last of Us 2, man. Halo's got a hell of a time next year.
I doubt that the last what's the report saying that it's only going to be on the PlayStation 5 or it's just
no, it's just getting a full patch and all the
which is I would expect that to be true.
Which is expected, yeah.
Yeah, some of that footage I've always questioned some of that footage if it's like their developmental footage or actual PlayStation.
Nah, that shit's on the PS. You could see all that on the PS4, man. I guarantee you.
Yeah, because it looked phenomenal. So if it's looking that good already, I just can imagine what it look like on the PlayStation 5. And it should be as such. Your new console coming out should showcase its power. And I don't think it's going to be anything different than what Microsoft's going to do with their console. But I think The Last of Us 2 is going to be a beast next year, man.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be.
I don't know, man. Does it matter? According to some of these people, if you can play your game on PS4, why would you buy the next gen console?
That is weird. A lot of people are saying, why would I get a Scarlett? I don't have any reasons because I can play my games on the Xbox One X. Well, then I guess nobody's getting a PS5, right, Colt? Guess nobody's getting a 2080 over a fucking 1080, right? Because it's the same games. You just get more performance.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, man. People, same TV. Why are you getting an OLED over a fucking LED? Oh, I can see the same content. Yeah, like, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, again,
there's levels to this shit, man.
Exactly. Like, you buy an OLED, you want better visuals. You buy a PS5, a Scarlett, because you want better visuals. You buy a 2080 Ti because you want better visuals. Performance matters. That stuff matters. Oh, SSD's a hard drive, so is this mechanical one. Same thing. Better performance. You want that one. That stuff matters. I don't feel like it's that hard to understand. Why do people? And these same people bought an Xbox One X funds. That's the worst part. They could have played it on their own.
I can't take common sense in my podcast. I can't do it.
They bought a PS4 Pro and they're saying there's no point in having a Scarlett. Why'd you get a Pro? You can play it on the base system.
Matt Piscatella of MPD today said that he started to play Control on the PC and he's like, I think I want a new graphics card. So he goes and buys one. He goes, I think I'm going to get a new CPU. I think I'm going to get more RAM. Like, people want more power. They want to experience their current games and the next ones to come a better way. That's why GPUs sell so well and why console upgrades are there and next generation. Like, power matters, right, Tim?
Tell you from everything
power matters.
Power matters.
Only when it doesn't.
Next generation it's gonna blur the lines, man. The stuff, the tech that's gonna be packed into these consoles. I'm a PC guy, so like I'm enjoying a lot of this stuff now. But honestly, I'm so excited for console only players to finally have 60 frames per second be the norm, and like to be able to experience ray tracing and higher resolution textures and all the physics and AI that's going to come with it, and having a decent fucking CPU, because this whole generation, the CPU in both consoles, all the consoles that are out now are just inadequate, man. And I'm excited for consoles next gen, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Not only does power not matter, chat, but the difference between 300,000 pixels at the beginning of the generation and now 4 million, many of the times you just can't even see the difference now. It definitely doesn't matter now that the disparity is that huge. Yeah, it's still the same 40 whatever percent. Yeah, that scales. That scales. So the more, let's say I got $5 or I got 5 million. How much more money is 40% compared to 5 million or $5, right? You still get a shit ton more either way. So the higher that performance goes, the more that 42%. It creates a massive performance delta between the two boxes. I mean, and that's on every single plane almost. So again, we'll see how that turns out, man. Scarlett's going to be a monster. Hardware accelerated ray tracing and more. Hopefully we get some hardware accelerated physics as well. That would be fucking legit. But hey, let us know your thoughts, guys, down below when this thing renders. If you missed our Gears of War talk, it's at the very beginning of the show. Check it out when it's up on the channel. Thank you so much for checking us out. We're not doing another 2-hour show, all right? I never aim to do 2-hour shows. I try to get, what's said needed to be said. We don't try to force the time, and I feel like it's the right time to get the fuck out of here. So, again, thanks for joining us. Hit that like button on your way out. Maybe tell a friend, and we are going to get into some outros. D-Batch, thanks for joining us, brother. What have you been up to? What have you been playing? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at D_Batch. Of course, on YouTube at DBatch. I just threw up a video today from Control. If you guys want to see what ray tracing looks like on the PC and have a little glimpse into the future of what console games will potentially look like, check out that video. And it was a great show. I'm glad that XCloud Tim Dog came down from the cloud up there and graced us with his presence, and it was a great show, guys.
Hey, people want to know where you're at, xCloud. Like, why haven't they talked about you in a while? Like, are they gonna give us some more details about you at Inside Xbox or XO or what's going on? Seriously, I mean, people have been asking like, where's xCloud? They haven't talked about it in a minute.
I think near the beta in October. I think their overall thinking with is that they're going to have it ready next year, I guess, with the Scarlett launch or around that time. But there's going to be a beta, and we're going to you'll hear about it at XO for sure. But I've been waiting on them to really go into talking about it for a long time. So I can't wait when they do talk about it, because I think it's from what I played and what I experienced, I think it's going to be a big way for people to play games, even though like you could say, oh, you can do it now, but when it's done on this scale and at this quality, I think it changes things. So
you and Colt have actually played it hands-on at E3. I mean,
it's really impressive, really. Like playing like when I played Ninja Theory's game, Hellblade, I could see like I could
Edge.
no, when I played it on xCloud, the frames weren't the best, or it wasn't the thing. But when I played Halo, it was so fun. It was so fluid. It was so fast that it's just if I'm just hanging out one day, I have nothing to do, and I could just play that's gonna change things. I definitely think that I personally will be playing on xCloud. I like the idea of and the way it looks, just the tech over. So I just, hopefully we hear about it this October, and I don't know when they're going to do the streaming. Hopefully it's the streaming as well. I know it's definitely going to be, you can share your games in preview.
Yeah, just know that it's coming. For those that are wondering, they're just trying to polish it out, and when they had that information out there, you'll hear it here first. Philly Eagle says, great show, the half that I caught. Keep the facts coming. Fucking chat. Keep the facts coming, fellas. # fun is what matters. Fun over plat. That's actually true, Philly Eagle. Very wise. So thank you very much. Hey, Colt, what have you been playing, bud? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Playing Wreckfest and Control almost at the same time. Really fun. And then hopefully Gears 5 like really soon.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting. It's gonna be amazing. Somebody in the chat said that we forgot that Gears of War and Xbox aren't relevant anymore. So I was like, it's like on the threatened.
I guess Gears of War, Xbox, and that guy's comment have something in common.
Right.
Hey, we should let people know. Wreckfest, I don't think it's enhanced. I feel like it looks pretty decent, though. There were some issues booting it up. If you're having issues, the thing that worked for me is unplugging my USB headset, my A50s, right? I unplugged them. I boot the game up. It actually works. Otherwise, it'll just go back to the dashboard. Yes, I'm being serious right now. So if you're having that issue, maybe if you got things plugged into your Xbox, for some reason, it's a software glitch, obviously. Hopefully, it'll be patched soon, but I had to unplug my headset, and it booted right up, which was fucking weird. So just
and then you just plug your headset back in, and
as soon as that bugbear thing, the logo pops up, I plug it right back in, and it works. Weird. So I don't know, maybe it'll be patched soon, but if the headset thing don't work or your wireless, maybe you got some other things. Maybe put it in the internal and then plug your external hard drive temporarily. I don't know exactly, but I do know it works every time for me. It worked for Lethal earlier. So let us know if you're having that issue. Hopefully they patch that. And if they haven't spoken on it, tweet at them. Tweet at the studio that made the game. I think it's Bugbear. I don't know though.
And sort of the same thing with Control, which we'll learn more about when the Digital Foundry finishes their analysis. But it sounds like the internal hard drive on the PlayStation 4 Pro is interfering with the frame rate working correctly, and they're reaching out to Sony to try to find out why it's not working. So
Sony cancels the acquisition. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's just things like this are very rare on console. But I don't know. You have to wait for a patch, which sometimes is pretty quick and better than going on forums and
all that
for
stuff.
4 hours.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be playing Gears soon. Fonzarelli, bud, what have you been up to? What have you been playing? Where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at jfonzarelli on Twitter and right here at The Grounded Gamer on YouTube. And I just want to thank the chat and Laud79. Happy birthday again, man. Enjoyed all the chat today, man. They were awesome. And I've been playing The Witcher 3. I finally beat Blood and Wine and played through all The Witcher 3 here. And I got to say, phenomenal game, man. Down to the last minute of Blood and Wine, just phenomenal. The storytelling is epic. Just amazing.
Yes. We've also got Tim Dog, but I know you just talked, but you didn't really tell people what you've been playing, where people find you.
You can find me on Twitter, xCloud Tim Dog. You could also find me here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been very busy with work. I've been working doubles and trying to, pay off some debt. So I haven't really had much time to game, but I actually have gamed on Gears Pop a lot. And I have to say it's very addicting. And I spent some money on it. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, Tim.
It's I like it. I don't care. I like it.
There goes that extra shift you just worked right into Gears Pop.
No, not that much. Not that much. It's enjoyable, and I just bought Control Wreckfest. I'm buying right now, and I'm thinking about buying one more game, Fallout 76. Do you guys think that game's
Nope.
No, don't buy it.
Nope.
Don't buy it. You'll have too much to play this fall to even.
I mean, Gears comes out in a few days, man. You might even want to hold off on like one of those other games he's talking about.
Well,
Gears comes out like next week.
Play Wreckfest.
Oh, okay.
I've been waiting for Wreckfest.
Just know that Wreckfest, the drivers in Wreckfest are fucking Formula One drivers jumping into a bunch of old bum ass cars, man. They destroy Apexes perfectly every single time. And if you fuck up at all, like they are right there or they're in your inside. And I've already learned to hate the damn station wagons because they're always right there with me.
It's awesome though. It really is.
It could be a lot of fun though, yeah. Also, Zalker, what have you been up to, bud? Where can people find you? What have you been playing?
Been playing a little bit of Uncharted on the PS4. Been playing Apex Legends a shit ton because I'm just having fun. I liked solos. I enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun playing with some people. Played with some people from the community actually on Sunday, which was really fun. You guys can find me at Twitter at Zalker87 at Zalker87. You guys can find me on YouTube, Zalker87 again. I just put out a video, just having a good time making stuff about Xbox, trying to keep it positive and not fear-mongering, giving you facts like everybody else in this panel does. And you guys can find me on Mixer too. Yeah, I stream all the time, and I'm probably going to stream tonight to hang out with everybody. Yeah,
somebody wanted a Zax in the Zaxo in the chat. Wanted us to answer a question regarding a Bluetooth adapter on the PS4. Bro, I touch a PS4 twice a year, and honestly, I have a pair of HyperXs, I think, that I use on that thing that I can also use on my Xbox. So I wouldn't know, brother. I would just go wired if that's the case. It might be a connection issue there. But I am replaying God of War right now, and that shit, it's legitimately a fucking masterpiece. Like I said it before. 9.5 out of 10. I don't give any game a 10, not even Witcher 3. And this game is the only other game I would put up there with Witcher 3 with just how cohesive and thought out. And I'm catching things in the narrative and I'm exploring even more than I did. I put like 35 hours in the God of War the first playthrough, and I still didn't do everything I could have. So great game's a great game, man. We've been saying it for years.
You called me when you ran into the dragon again. You're like, "Did you see this dragon?" I'm like, "Yeah." And you're like, "God, this game." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's
well."
Cool
I said, "How many dragons did you find the first time through?" And
yeah, that's what you asked me. Yeah.
Here's the thing: when you play that game, you notice that the combat. I mean, we've played combat games before, that are melee based combat, but that melee based combat is the best in my opinion.
I mean, it was very familiar because of Odyssey uses the same bumper system. So I was like right at home.
Oh yeah, but all the little things, the RPG elements, all the stuff you can like get into.
The exploration combined with how the game looks. I mean, it's an
amazing game. I gave it a 9.5 as well.
It's a really good game, and it's been over a year, so I figured I'd go back and replay it, and I'm loving every single second of it. Just waiting for Gears, man. There was a little drought, and then Wreckfest finally came out last night, and then Control came out early for some reason, so that's already out. So I guess I'll put God of War on hold because there's actually stuff to play now. But again, guys, that's kind of what I've been up to. Been playing a little bit of Control, Wreckfest, God of War. And waiting on Gears should have, we're guessing the review stuff comes out probably maybe on Thursday, maybe, hopefully tomorrow. That'd be great. But I'll be playing Gears this week as well. And me and Colt will both have reviews out day one when that embargo lifts for you guys. So be sure and stay tuned in. Also, if you haven't joined the channel, consider doing that. I'll be peddling that for quite a while. Some perks, Discords, all that stuff. Patreon down below, game giveaways and more. Exclusive videos as well, early releases as well. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. We have got to get out of here. So again, thanks. We're out.
Later, everybody.
Bye.